Our next witness is Dr. Jordan Vaughn. Dr. Vaughn is
These doctors speak for like 5 minutes each, and I feel like everything they say is so compelling. You have to watch this in its entirety. You know, the link will be in the description.
Physician and clinical researcher in Birmingham, Alabama. As owner and CEO of MedHelp Clinics, Dr. Vaughn has directed his organization to the leading edge of early outpatient treatment of COVID-19 for his patients and greater Birmingham community. Dr. Vaughn has treated over 4,000 long COVID and COVID vaccine injured patients. Dr. Vaughn.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson and Ranking Member Blumenthal. Thank you for having me. I'm going to dovetail a little bit off what Dr. McCullough said. And one of the things that as a clinician who also had about 200 people working for him and actually seeing about 170,000 patients a year, when COVID came along, I had to really figure out how to not only help my staff and make sure they're safe, but also help the patients that my organization was responsible for. And that really made me dive into understanding the pathology. And what I came away with was understanding that the spike protein, the S1 subunit specifically, is not a benign protein. It triggers inflammation, it disrupts endothelial barriers, it induces fibrin resistant to breakdown, and it promotes a lot of amyloid aggregates, which is what I research. These effects impair oxygen delivery, damage blood vessels, contribute to clotting pathologies that manifest with a lot of the symptoms that we're seeing in the long COVID and vaccine injured, which to this day is a huge amount of people. We're talking upwards of 10 to 15 million people in America that are being affected by the consequences of COVID in the long form or vaccine injury. And the typical symptoms are things like heart racing, brain fog, shortness of breath, and post-exertional malaise.
A lot of these side effects, a lot of people might not even realize that they could be caused from these products. So that's why you got to watch this, because they tell you all these different kinds of side effects and symptoms from these products and what they're seeing in their practices. And all these doctors, they had to come out the hospitals and stuff because they couldn't treat the patients the way they knew worked. So these doctors, they can treat you like through telehealth or whatever and stuff like that. Like they have, you know, doctors that you can go to online and tell them your symptoms and they try to help you, because you cannot get help in university hospitals and stuff like that. They make it where you can't treat the people with the drugs that you know work like a doctor should be allowed to.
My clinic, I actually use immunofluorescent microscopy to be able to actually see what's going on in the blood and look for these amyloid aggregates. Some as young as teenagers that are unable to stand. Others are previously active adults suffering small strokes without typical identifiable causes. These are not abstract theories. They're the lived realities of my patients in Alabama and beyond. The mRNA injection, heralded as a solution, introduced a novel mechanism, lipid nanoparticles delivering modified mRNA that instructs the cells to produce a stabilized spike protein. Unlike traditional vaccines, this approach resulted in uncontrolled production of the spike protein for an unknown duration and distributes it widely across.
And see, this is the thing. They didn't test it long enough to find out how all these crazy new things that they put in here are going to affect the body. They use the people as guinea pigs for something. It's crazy to me. I just don't understand how nothing is being done about this.
Across organs, including the heart, brain, and vasculature, and ovaries and testes. The actual EMA, their assessment of Comirnaty, which is Pfizer's vaccine, noted biodistribution beyond the injection site, contradicting claims that the vaccine stays in the arm. And a recent groundbreaking study using single-cell precision nanocarrier identification revealed LNP accumulation in the heart tissue of mice with adverse proteomic changes in immune and vascular proteins, raising concerns about the cardiac complications that dovetail with what we were seeing when we were looking at the COVID-19 vaccine myocarditis. I will tell my first encounter with the vaccine injury came in winter of 2021. 69-year-old man from Alabama presented with unexplained shortness of breath.
I remember back then you could go on BitChute and just see all of the people. I remember before Instagram started blocking people, like you would look on the pages and they would just be blacked out of people coming on there with tremors, Parkinson's, skin disorders, all kind of autoimmune weird things with their skin and stuff. And like they were being blocked. And like they're telling their story and they're being blocked. Whole groups of people that are injured, they take the whole group down and stuff. I mean, it's just nasty what they did.
A patient of mine, I really had no other reason that he had this shortness of breath. And after the second Pfizer dose, he actually had significant shortness of breath. I couldn't figure it out in a sense because it would typically be that he had a pulmonary embolism, but empirical anticoagulation and antiplatelet therapy brought rapid improvement. This case prompted deeper investigation that the spike protein's ability to induce fibrin that's resistant to breakdown, activate platelets irreversibly, and damage the inside of our vessels that run to every part of our body and every organ, explained his symptoms and those of thousands more since. I have treated approximately 4,000 patients suffering from long COVID and vaccine injury, or both. Many were young and previously healthy. For those with vaccine injury, trust in public
Just think about all those young athletes that you see falling down on the field and stuff like that. That's what's happening.
institutions has been shattered. Many were coerced under the August 2021 federal mandates, despite legitimate hesitations due to prior infection or personal health risks. They knew their body better than the agencies. Now disabled.
One of my friends, she had a medical exemption from her doctor saying that she could not take those products because of her medical condition, and she was still fired, even though she had a doctor's exemption of taking it. You know, all these people knew better than the doctors.
They are dismissed or ignored by the systems that mandated their compliance. The myocarditis signal is also a big thing. This spring of 2021, a clear safety signal emerged. Myocarditis in young males linked to mRNA vaccines. The Department of Defense confirmed cases of rare heart inflammation, and peer-reviewed studies later detected circulating spike protein in post-vaccine myocarditis cases. Autopsy findings have confirmed fatal vaccine-induced myocarditis. Yet federal authorities accelerated licensing and mandates, sidelining concerns. The CDC's hesitation to issue a health alert on myocarditis, and the FDA's former CBER director promoting vaccines on social media crossed a line from oversight to advocacy. This was not regulation, it was endorsement.
They advocated for these shots everywhere. They mandated it everywhere, knowing good and well that it has serious safety concerns. And I don't know, you can't just make me think it was just money why they would do something like this.
Informed consent is the foundation of a patient-physician relationship. Absent the regulators providing that information, that relationship is irreparably harmed, and the practice of medicine will continue to suffer. In closing, I urge you to stop blindly following the science. Science does not lead anywhere. It is an observer, measurer, and descriptor. It must inform leadership, not replace it. When leaders hide behind the science to justify policy, they abdicate responsibility. We need leadership that humbly engages with data, listens to patients, and actually acts with courage. Thank you. I welcome your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Vaughn.